It is 4:26 a.m. and I have class in like 7 to 6 hours. But honestly, this shout out to VVS Joey, by the way. And I just want to go ahead and get right into this because I want to get this video edited and posted today. I got 6 videos. This will be, yeah, I'll have 8 videos posted today. So no excuses to anybody out there who's watching this video. But shout out to you. I am sitting this 8 minutes into the video. I think that you watching this will make a great presentation. Thank you, by the way, for even considering my articulation for this video. I'll let you make your own thoughts. Just finish the video and wow, got you covered. Seeing this 29 minutes and that's solid. I'll react to it when I get free time after work and school. Let me know. Okay, and also if you were in the live that happened yesterday, no, 2 days ago, actually. It was a Saturday. I was on Streamlabs, which is basically right here, and I was trying to figure out, how to get the stream going for you all so I can react to it live and then see your reactions and whatnot. But get this harlot off of my goddamn screen, bro. So, hold on. She is distracting people from being conscious in their higher self. Okay. And it's still here. Ignore her. But so yeah, I was supposed to make this video on stream with you all, but I'm just going to react to it from Zoom. Let's go ahead and get right into it because I don't know what this is about basically, but as you can see from the title, we're going to go ahead and dissect a childhood memory. So I don't want to waste your time. Let's go and watch this video.
The Adventures of Sharkboy and Lavagirl is a very famous kids movie made in 2005 by Robert Rodriguez, the creator of Spike.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. What you mean my screen is paused? What do you mean? Nigga, continue this shit. What the fuck is going on? Whoa, whoa. What the fuck?
This movie is famous.
So I can't like, okay, I'm making sure y'all can see me and shit. So wait, if I do this, it's paused? Oh, okay. Well, I guess we gotta watch it like this then. That's crazy.
Very weird. It's definitely for children, but it's more than that. The director based the whole movie off of his son's dreams, and he produced the whole thing, including the soundtrack and special effects, all by himself. And when you watch it, nothing makes sense. It's very confusing and secretive. I mean, on the surface, it stars a boy named Max who dreams up amazing worlds in his sleep to escape his sad life. But one day, in class, his two greatest creations, Sharkboy and Lavagirl, show up needing him to save their planet. On their planet, he finds all of his other dreams and learns self-control while bonding with his classmates. But suddenly, he wakes up from the whole adventure in his classroom. Was it all just fake? No. His classmates remember being there with him, and now he's better at dreaming. So he stands up, looks at his friends, and they all make their dreams come true and save the day in the real world. Somehow they have superpowers. Max just explains that he dreamed a better dream and his life gets better. But I'm suspicious. How does Max control reality? How does everyone else control reality? Who is able to control things? Is the planet was manifested? What is a dream reality on planet? Is the soul reflective in reality? Dream journal. What is the other kids? And finally, what caused all of this to happen? What do we know for certain? We know that Max falls asleep in the middle of class and then wakes up later. The power to control things using his mind. He made the big bad guy, Mr. Electric, appear right before everyone's eyes during the climax. He also created a powerful ice crystal, and his love interest used it to save the day. But many people seem skeptical of this. They ask, well, what about Planet Drool? That was a dream. Why couldn't all of his powers just be a dream too? Well, that planet might not be a dream. And also, the movie's message is about dreams being real. You could say the entire movie's a dream. You could even say that him being bullied in the opening sequence was a dream, but that doesn't make any sense. That is definitely real. The director's not lazy. So, do you see this scene?
I wish I could just escape this loser world and go to Planet Jewel. Games and toys and have some fun.
Everything that happens before this scene must be real to make the movie work. So, to put an end to this, I spent hours investigating the opening scenes that had his family and friends and discovered that Max constantly makes things happen like magic. Here, just before his big wish, Max jumps awake and goes downstairs to find cookies that were eaten by Sharkboy and Lavagirl. We know this is real because his parents come in and see it too. Max didn't literally cut cookies and melt glass in his sleep. He
So
caused it to happen.
the thing is too though, if Max has powers and Max was able to, because the thing is too, this is all about a dream. I remember watching this when I was, man, elementary school, I think, or yeah, elementary school or middle school. But I remember when I first seen this. But that's the thing though, when Max envisioned Sharkboy and Lava Girl to be real, that was the dream within the reality of the dream that Max thought he was dreaming in. So of course, as parents, the parents went along with the dream because they wanted to fulfill Max's wishes within his mindset of his dream journal. So by Max constantly focusing on that, his focus intention within the thought is what created his reality to be Shark Boy and Lava Girl's manifestation to come to the physical. So Max was basically dreaming with his eyes wide open, and then he was able to drift off into a realm of sleep, REM, a realm of sleep while also going to school, going to bed, getting picked on, and all that, because that's what he was, let's see, interlocking as far as wanting to be aligned with figuring out who he was being and how he was able to escape his from his own misery that he kept dreaming about. So the bully, I forgot the bully's name, but it started with an L. He had an L on his shirt. That bully is what Max used to challenge himself into learning how to not react to people that don't know how his mind works. And the bully understood that Max's mind was more powerful than where is he at? Where is that little boy at, bro? Yeah, I can't find him. But that's how Max understood from, I think his name is Lance or something like that. But that bully understood that Max's mind was more powerful because that bully could now see, like, oh, this dude was really out here speaking the truth, and I'm stuck in his own delusion. So, how powerful was Max's lies to where people were lying in their dream by equating that with what they thought they were seeing in the depiction of what Max has already seen? So, Max seen what never existed, and they were just now catching up to a non-existent realm because they were so focused on what Max was creating, even though his power was his gift of just constantly thinking about what he wanted to attract. Law of manifestation, law of attraction.
By imagining it, and seconds before his wishing scene, this
And imagination is very powerful. I do agree. When you have a powerful imagination, nothing and no one can stop you from bringing your dreams into the physical, especially in your journal. And that's why he was lying to himself when he told himself there's no such thing as Sharkboy and Lava Girl. He wasn't wrong, but he wanted to be right so bad that to where he had to lie to himself. But that was his truth because he is Sharkboy and Lava Girl. He is that strong. He is that protective over himself. And the thing is too, he didn't like his teacher, so he wanted to fight against his teacher by his guide. So Sharkboy and Lava Girl are basically just in his angelic guides. And the thing is, too, this is basically a little girl in a boy's body in this movie, but people don't understand transhumanism and all that. That's a whole different topic for a different day. But this being understood that me lying to myself by saying Sharkboy and Lava Girl aren't real, that's what made them real. So if I tell myself I don't have my own house, I'm lying to myself. But if I reverse that and I go against what I'm lying about, my truth becomes my lies. What do I mean? I have my own house. I am thankful to be in my own house. I am thankful for this person and that person to be in my own space. I am thankful to have this many supporters. I'm thankful to pay my bills. I'm thankful to have all these things happen to me. That is the illusion that people had to start imagining in to where now the lies attracting your truth that you are dreaming in with your eyes wide open.
Yes, there is.
Do you see that? Max
Exactly. That's what I'm fucking talking about. And I didn't even watch this video before. I kid you not, it's my first time watching this. I need to go back and watch this movie because wow, I literally just had a whole spiritual awakening. And I was just, my bad, y'all, my bad. I got
or
excited.
his dreams, and it broke his lava lamp. But when he
Hmm.
paused for a minute and accepted them, his lava lamp worked again. He's controlling things somehow, and he knows it deep
Hmm.
down. It's not just at home either. There's lots that happens during his first day of school, like confusing his teacher by stopping the dreams in his journal. This is the real world.
Says who? And that's what teachers will do. I feel like if you're going to be a teacher and you're going to be a mind controller or a manipulator, why not contradict what you're telling this child? Because that's what kills the imagination of children. That's exactly why as I got older, I had to figure out how to apologize to my imagination for abandoning it. Because when I abandoned my imagination, I couldn't bring all my, what's what I'm looking for? I couldn't bring, not intuition, but the things that I wanted, I couldn't magnetize that because I left myself in the dust. That was my inner child. So when teachers and parents do that, you're killing the internal gift that the child is mm, learning from. That's the steering wheel for the child to bring forth to help you become more abundant. And parents don't see that because they're closed-minded,
Lost my train of thought. First
because you know you're lying to yourself.
is that the movie doesn't actually lie to us about Max's life. This is his real life, and he can control things. This means the end of the film really did happen too. That's why everyone remembers the battle while he gives his final.
And that's why he had to now let go and surrender his ego into accepting Max for his gifts. That's what happens when you're gifted. People like this bully right here, who is a girl as well, but and they're all inverted. All these actors are, they're all in the same exact club. But that's why she had to, respectfully, she had to respect Max's mindset. And that's why she took the time to even admire what she was put through, because that's how powerful the mind is.
Each. This is all important to figure out what's really going on. So, for those confused, Max has his first day of school. That night, he wishes that tomorrow my dreams about Planet Jewel will come true. When he goes to school the next day, it happens. The storm
Okay, whoa, hold on. I like that. I like this right here. Purple equals dreaming, white equals awake. All right, hold on.
tomorrow my dreams about
Okay, so he's awake, but understand over here though, that's the dream. So first day of school, dreaming. Cookies manifest, dreaming. Wish for tomorrow, dreaming.
Planet Jewel will come true. When he goes to school the next day,
But that's the awakening. This whole timeline right here, even with this robot right here, that's the awakening right there. Even when the robot was in that the drool world, stop saying I only said it one time, but don't say it again. That when this being was headless, I think they were in, no, yeah, they were just riding on this being's eyeballs. So that was the awakening because even though the being didn't work in the physical and the metaphysical, this being understood why it wasn't working. And that's why it started working again because Max figured out how to awaken his reality in the dream world.
happens. The storm that he wished for blows out the windows and he hits his head, knocking
Yep. So when all that transpired, that was the dream world. So to me, everything is reversed. This white line, this timeline. So we're going to alchemize the theorite for one. Shout out to you for this. But we're going to alchemize this. This is the, so to me, the white is the dream, the purple is the awakening. When George Lopez and Sharkboy and Lavagirl popped up, that was the dream. Then when they went into the real world, they became awakened.
Boy and Lavagirl take him to save their planet. When he eventually wakes up, his dream becomes real. His wish to become a daydreamer comes true, and all of his
When you become a daydreamer, now the dreams at night make more sense. When you dream at night and you wake up thinking about the same exact dream, what has to come into your reality? basically saying it's 4:41 a.m. I don't know if I can see that or whatever, but 4:41 a.m. Hold on. Wait, where is my talking thing? Okay, 4:41 a.m. So, and I could be in bed sleep right now, and I could be saying, "Oh, I got class and this and that." No, basically, right now, I'm making a video in my dreaming state of mind because all I can think about is this. When I wake up and what I'm doing right now, all I can daydream about is what. So if I do this every single day and I act on the actions, what will manifest into my existence? And basically, all the people in my classroom, which will be the YouTube, they will be able to now see that the final boss was laziness, it was excuses, it was identity, it was ego, and now we freeze these lies. I mean, this video is basically fucking done in 4 minutes. My bad.
Suddenly appear in front of his real class, leading them to save the day. Notice how Sharkboy scratches the chalkboard, but when Max wakes up afterwards, the chalkboard's normal again. His teacher is also surprised all over
Whoa,
again that
whoa,
Max
whoa, I just seen something. Hold on. So look at,
them to save the day. Notice how Sharkboy scratches the chalk, but when Max
okay, now peep though. Source of consciousness, all the alignments of your nervous system, because remember, there is no solar system, but all these systems of your alignment internally of your gateways. So these are basically gateways, not planets. Because if, excuse me, if we're calling these planets, you're basically enslaving yourself in these dimensions. When we align with these dimensions, with this being the lowest and the highest way of our source, we now align all these gateways and we're going into a higher ascension, opening up the mind to where we can go into a world that can bring the truth that we constantly imagine into where we are in this physical plane of existence that we keep orbits in,
up afterwards, the chalkboard's
or an orbital mind in,
is
or our thoughts orbit around what we are stuck in mentally.
also surprised all over again that Max's dreams come true. This is real. Dream is real. It's Sharkboy and Lavagirl.
When you achieve what you want in life, people will ask you, yo, is your dream real? It really happened? Hmm.
Never entered the first time. It was the explosion that knocked out Max, and them coming in was part of the dream. They only got created when they had to save Max's parents at the end. Linus and Marissa were asleep too. That's why they were there in the dream with him. The storms and tornadoes and chaos also happened all because of his wish. Max is like a self-wishing infinity genie, and now he can control it. He made his dreams come true by wishing they would. The world does what he wants. It's not foreshadowing or a coincidence. It's the whole point. Max is a superhero, but Linus does it too. They all do. They share dreams and powers, and that means the film is hiding something much deeper, crazier, and more terrifying than any of you can imagine.
But we got to be able to contradict that because remember, we are, because for one, I like that. But we got to remember though, we are consciousness as God trapped in the body. So everyone is God. But if you're saying that if everyone is a God, you're basically saying everyone is a version of Satan in God's mindset. That's exactly why ascended beings or master healers or ascension that's in the vessel will never say that we are God, but we understand the mind of what God never had a mind set in.
So Max has superpowers, but something's gone seriously wrong because the other kids are able to invade his dreams. Reading through his dream journal, things start to get disturbing. He shares it with his class at the beginning, but it dates back to months ago, and yet it contains the entire script of the movie. What? He dreamt all of this back in April and May, and everything was in there, minus Mr. Electric, the different locations, the Ice Princess, and the most existentially terrifying thing I've ever found in a kid's movie, which is him writing about reading what he wrote about reading and remembering himself remembering it. Max steals back his journal from Linus. He opens the book and it reads, "So then I stole back this very book." He stole the book that had him stealing it already written in it. It's like a lucid prophecy. But this makes so much sense. Max has been reliving the whole movie, scene by scene, every night. And this all started in April. The movie takes place in this is why he talks about remembering what comes next. During the movie, it all keeps happening. But Linus and Marissa were still sharing this whole dream, not just when they were sleeping in the classroom, but for months before, too. How did it happen over and over again without them remembering it? There's only one thing this can mean. It means Max's powers are way stronger than you think. It means Max spent months dreaming of his teacher and classmates in these roles. And then, on the day he wished everything would come true, the kids were knocked out along with him and sucked into the whole thing, forced into their roles. He made them become his characters. His powers don't just control things, they control people too. His wish was already working before they were even knocked out. When Marissa comes to school, she's
Basically, Max would be the version of mind control. So when you can orchestrate your thoughts and bring them into the physical to where they're able to alter, the field of the simulation around you to come into existence, and people can notice that, they'll want to be around you, they'll want to focus on you. And when you're telling yourself these things about these people and it comes true and they don't realize it, whose mind is doing what to whose mind doing what, because that's the loop of lucid dreaming. This being Max was basically outside of his body and realizing that these people weren't aware of what they were doing, so Max was just showing them how they can use their, not use, but they can control their mind in the exact same manner by having positive intentions.
already talking about the Ice Princess. Linus is only ruining the dream world because Max is so worried that he will, and his fear makes it happen. These people are living out his story like puppets on strings. They're prisoners of their own minds and bodies, forced to play out the characters. He even gave them their powers, and he explains how to control them at the end of the movie. Why did Max do this? Well, it's not on purpose. Max's brain created Sharkboy, Lavagirl, minus the Mr. Electric, without him knowing, to teach him how to dream better. But Max's powers have always been real. So I have to ask, did Linus only bully him because Max made him do it? Did Max cause it to happen accidentally? A whole new meaning.
So I feel like Max caused it to happen accidentally to where that's what became his purpose. Max had to create him as a bully because Max also had to think as if his mind is equal as well, and it can do the exact same thing if he was able to notice who he is being in the moment. And that's why Max needed to challenge himself or his shadow side to help strengthen his mind as well. So it's basically a give and exchange or a give and take logic, or even just, I had in my notes too. It's like a reward expectation mindset. So Max expected to get rewarded mentally, and then by doing that, he expected this mindset to reward him with more challenges that he can overcome into finding his purpose by accident. So it wasn't by accident, but it accidentally became his purpose into figuring out how to stop his mind from overdriving what he could have gotten lost in.
Linus getting so angry at Max. Linus literally didn't take the journal and literally didn't ruin it. Max's powers just caused him to do it. And he thinks Max is just attacking him. It would even explain why he acts like such a stereotypical bully. and why everyone just does what he says. Even older kids that don't know him, he just points his fingers and people do things. It's all because Linus is being controlled by a bully version of himself. And either Max or Linus is making everybody follow along. The movie is suggesting that all children have the ability to make their dreams come true, and they just have to learn to control it. So Max has powers, Linus has powers, and we also have Marissa. She takes the role of the powerful ice princess because of how cold she is from the air conditioning. But the movie suggests that even adults can make their wishes come true if they dream hard enough. Case in point, Max's dad. He's a creative writer and a bit childish. I believe me. His wife is about to divorce him for being immature, but during the final battle, when they try to save Max, a giant tornado sucks up his mom. As she is dragged away, Max's dad tells her how much he loves her, that he closes his eyes and wishes for her to come back. And just like magic, Lavagirl flies down, saving the mother. This must be shocking for them. Max's imaginary friends were real this whole time. How do they respond? His parents.
Hey, are they imaginary friends or are they just the feelings that the dad didn't want to let go of? So it's like this dad knew that, her being in his life was the best thing that happened to him. So by her even getting sucked into chaos, him closing his eyes, telling himself, like, I want her to come back. I wish for her to be in my presence. And then by bringing that feeling of truth of how he intuitively was feeling about or internally feeling about his wife or whatever, that's when the imagination or the imaginary friend of his child, because the dad being immature was connecting to the child's divinity. So when the dad is connected to the child's divinity and then accepts it, not only accepts it, but understands it and then doesn't judge it, but is gentle with it and you don't try to groom it, that's when the child's gift will reward you for understanding what we all should have never gotten rid of as a child.
Are not surprised at all. This is very weird. They just smile like they expected it. Then a second tornado randomly appears behind Max's dad, and Sharkboy saves him. It's just like when they talk about the dream they have to get back together. And here it happens using their son's powers.
Hmm.
In fact, the whole movie is building to this moment. Sharkboy and Lavagirl represent them. They are figures that can help teach Max because his real parents were busy arguing. It all came full circle, and the movie was spelling it out. It's everyone. Dreams control reality. The tornadoes got worse as the class began fighting. Each time someone changes things, the lights flicker, storms appear, and people start acting weird. The movie's filled with foreshadowing and exposition because it isn't foreshadowing. Are characters referencing something that'll happen later? No, no. Them saying it is what causes it to happen. It's insanely subtle. It's even the mom. She tells Max,
Mouth closed. Eyes open. No, yes, now.
it causes him to literally walk into a wall until she says, open your eyes again. Seriously. The twist here is that this is not a joke. It's literally how the movie works. I can't even list everything. Actually, oh yes, I can. And in this time, I am going to list everything I can think of. Ready? Go. When Max goes to bed and dreams of the next day, lightning strikes as he calls for a storm. Max's journey is influenced by him learning about space and having it plastered all around him. Lava Girl is his lava lamp, and Sharkboy is his cereal. Minus is named Minus because of Linus losing school points. Tobor worked and didn't work because Max and his dad believed it. The teacher talks about tornado as the hot and cold chase each other around, much like the interplay of Sharkboy and Lava Girl. Max makes his parents fight worse by believing it's worse. Max controls his dreams so much while on Planet Drool that Lava Girl calls Max's dream. Even subtle things like Max just saying, while on Planet Drool, literally stops Linus's wasp attack dead in its tracks. His mom's
Cookies, my giant cookies.
created her and her husband as giants in a land of milk and cookies, manifesting the shared dream for better family that she described. It's not the first time she's made these cookies, given the dream repeating, but Max does create this in real time after dreaming of eating while on his venture, meaning it didn't exist seconds before this. It creates Lava Girl's sudden memory of it, which she says, of course. Same with the lava bike and Lava Girl's entire backstory. Stealing the dream journal stole his dream world, and
With that milk and cookies reference, you're not really hungry till you think about hunger. And the thing is, Hunger does not know that it's hungry. So how do you know that you're hungry if you're not really hungry? And if you stop eating for certain days, you forget to think that you're hungry because it's just your mind practicing the condition that you're feeding boredom in. So if food can align families, what realm do you think these labels came from? Because realistically, in the dream world, there are realms of foods that can help your families come together. So if you ask your mom or your dad or your siblings or whoever you love, what do they enjoy eating? What do they enjoy drinking or whatever? There's a reason for that because in their mind, they dream about that same exact habit dinner every single day or every single month, or every single week. And if these things can break people apart, well, food can also bring them back together again because realistically, you're not you when you're hungry.
World dies because Max stopped believing it after it got ruined. Sharkboy faced off against the electric eels. That line is true at the beginning of the movie. Every single location, from the stream of consciousness to the sea of confusion to the train of thought to the passage of time to Mount Everest, are all Max's brain manifesting an entire set of biomes like Inside Out. The electricity is a reference to the plugs by his bedside, the passage of time going backwards because the film is told out of order. The dream graveyard is what he's given up on. Sugar causes nightmares in reality and his dream. Lavagirl uses sleepwalking to teach Max daydreaming. Linus bursts Dreamboy's bubble, creating a flood of bubbles. His crush froze the sea of confusion by giving him clarity through attraction. George Lopez represents the duality of man. Mr. Electric is supposed to power the dreams like a teacher should. The Ice King is overprotective like Norris's father. Electricidad is Electric Dad being a dream crusher. All dualities in Max's teacher, all voiced by George Lopez. Tobor loses the train of thought like Max caused his teacher to do. The father loses the clip on tie to signify maturation. Lavagirl destroys the dream book like Linus did. And every time someone says something, it happens. Like the teacher telling Max and Linus they will be friends, or Linus saying Max should bring them to class tomorrow, and they do. Again, not foreshadowing. They made these things happen by saying it. Of course, there's also everything I said before this and everything I've yet to say after this for the sake of formatting, and every last bit of foreshadowing and exposition you can get your hands on counts too by this film's message. So yes, everyone in this movie is writing the plot as they live it. That is the truth. But something still doesn't add up. Characters still know things, even when they're not being controlled. The movie starts off weird to begin with. Why do they live right next to Max's school? No, I assume she drives to work. Why are they moving around? What other school? Why mention this at all? There is something much deeper than just kids making things real. How does all of this work? How can a town full of kids create planets and monsters and storms without the outside world knowing about it? How can Lavagirl take over Earth's volcanoes at the end and not draw suspicion? How can Sharkboy rule Earth's oceans? Who are the characters to begin with? Where does this movie even take place? What is all this? Who runs this? Oh, I found the answer. And then I discovered they made a sequel. Stop using boring designs that
I mean, so far, I'm trying to figure out what point he's really trying to get at, but let's just keep on watching though. I'm not gonna really pause it too much at this point, so I'm trying to see the key points right now because everything he's saying is like, I mean, I get it, but let's get to it for real. You feel me?
You probably don't know this, but 4 years ago, Robert Rodriguez released a sequel to Sharkboy and Lavagirl called We Can Be Heroes. It has superheroes, super kids, aliens, and literally Sharkboy and Lavagirl. And yet, apparently, he says it isn't a sequel. Or is it? It takes place in a superhero world, and one day all of their heroes kidnapped by aliens. So the heroes' kids are placed under government protection, and the film is about them escaping, training, and saving their parents. It's a lot like his other films, like Spy Kids, like Shorts, and not only do I think it's connected to Shark Boy and Lavagirl, but I think it's even more than just a sequel. I think it's the answer. It has insane twists. You see, Earth's government is revealed to have been infiltrated with aliens for years. Even one of the kids is an alien. She's actually their leader in disguise, and she has the power to draw things that come to life. Sound familiar? The aliens aren't even evil in the end. They were just testing the kids, training them to become better heroes so they could save the universe one day. And the entire alien planet is run by children with adults as their servants, kind of like Max's planet. where kids rule and adults drool. The whole movie is similar to Sharkboy and Lavagirl, and of course, they are in it. Their daughter, Guppy, can control water, and she's a main character.
That's really cool.
When asked about this, Rodriguez claimed it's just borrowing them, but it's also borrowing cereal brands and plot lines and actors. And I think it is a separate universe, yes. I think that this movie is a fictional reality made real by Max's class. Seriously, the whole sequel, from the aliens to the kids, to the reality, to the acting, to the directing, the visuals, it's like the mind of a child. They talk about it in the movie.
On our planet, the children are in charge.
It's almost like the girl is a powerful dreamer who wrote the whole thing. So when I was writing my theory and saw that Max's school was suspicious, it didn't take me long.
Whoa, 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 whoa. When that little girl was just, when she, when the being was drawing things and the little aliens came out, let's go back to that, go back to that. Yeah, her or him, but drawing the things and they're coming out, the beings who are, these interterrestrial deities, when they shift their energy into the skin suit of a child, before we even had language, that's what they made up. They were writing sorcery to where it became a word because they knew that language or even writing or even thinking about what to put down on a tablet literally was symbolism to bring lies into life. So these were their powers. They decided to put them inside of children so that the children can save their parents from being asleep.
The whole thing. So when I was writing my theory, well, and I already knew the twist ending. Why? Because this is the missing puzzle piece that explains Sharkboy and Lavagirl. Do you see? Planet Drool is the original form of the sequel's universe. It was the test. It was the kids' first version. It was the original model of the universe they ended up creating. It's the only solution. And do you see where I'm going with this? If not, brace yourself.
No, no. And all these, I mean, they just be mocking our people with just these commercials, bro. And it just be amazing how people do this shit just for like commercials and money.
You 2 million.
Look at this grown ass woman talking about Team Water and shit. Like,
The reason Max's parents weren't surprised by Sharkboy and Lavagirl, the reason Max's teacher doesn't lose his mind when he sees himself as a cyborg, the reason they live across the street and move from school to school, and the whole reason the school is so weird to begin with, is because it's not a school at all.
I'm a teacher, right? Wrong.
It's a government operation to create superheroes.
mm-hmm.
The sequel unambiguously proves it. This is why Planet Drool and Super Children and Breaks in Reality don't draw attention of the outside authorities. They're already here. They are the ones running it. And nobody has caught this in 15 years. This is just like how the alien government created the supers in We Can Be Heroes. It's the whole point of the movie. Half these characters are in on it. The whole thing is a lucid dreaming experiment staged by this government to manipulate the kids into creating heroes for them. I guarantee this is the case. Everything is fake. All of the objects in Max's surroundings at school, at home, are placed in such a way to get him to dream of outer space. Superhero.
They used Max's dream to simulate a version to save themselves through a child's journal. The government used children, emulated them and trained them and programmed them to become heroes So where the beings who are overseers of these children, they can shift their energy into the child's body and then harvest that energy to where now they can escape this realm that's boring and then they can go into a different planet to where kids rule and adults drool. So they want to become youthful to get closer to source. To get closer to source, you had to do what? Kidnap children, take their blood, consume their mind. When you're doing this, you're kidnapping them and you're trafficking children, you're doing it for one reason and one thing only. You are doing it to get a certain high or a certain heightened awareness from the being spiritual abilities that you may have lost, and you're trying to hmm, enslave to where you can use it as an experiment to get more money, more knowledge, more information, more wisdom, and you're able to become more more aware of what you aren't aware into being as the CIA or the government, and these beings understand that. So this is basically MK Ultra, and the children, the children who constantly forget their powers, it's all by design. Because why would they want beings to alchemize elements like water, air, fire, earth, wind, all these different things, and even the spirit? They wouldn't want us to, and people will call this shit divination or occultism. So when they understand that, they want to demonize our gifts to where we forget about them. But realistically, we dream about our gifts silently to where now we're not really being truthful in what can be sparked into creation. And that's why, in order for these beings to get to creation, they had to move through us.
Dreams lava sharks exactly what they need. Just look at the climax. The movie tries to suggest they were all knocked out when the windows exploded and they dove to safety. They imply that they dreamt the whole adventure in just a few seconds before waking back up. But then, how could Max have time to make himself comfortable and prop his head up? How could Linus lay there at his desk and drool all that in seconds? Because it wasn't just a couple seconds, it was the whole hour. They were knocked unconscious on purpose. Some of them weren't even knocked out. It was all being controlled. It would also better explain the months of shared dreaming. Everything has been carefully controlled by the people influencing Max's mind. It's not random chance that Max makes these things happen. He's been influenced from every tiny detail around him. It's hard to know where to even draw the line, but most shocking.
And the thing is, when Max is sleeping, the men in black put different challenges or different props in Max's room or kitchen to where when Max is either touching it or even observing it, he doesn't understand why it's doing what it's doing, but that's all by design because they're basically manipulating Max and thinking as if he doesn't have power, so he'll lie about these things not being real. But that's the whole point of reality. They want you to go against the gifts that you already understood into how powerful you always been because you're gifted by a source that isn't even called a label. And that's why the being behind the label understood what it had to do by taking a part of itself in the shadows to put itself through humility. Because once you become so strong mentally and you become knowing of what you know in this realm, you had to take a piece of yourself to check yourself or you will lose yourself. That's why the government controls our chaotic mindset that can free us into higher realms.
It's the secret manual. What's that, you ask? Well, Max writes in his journal months before the film that Sharkboy and Lavagirl encouraged him to dream better. And when he woke up, he found a dreaming concentration technique manual under his bed, written by some creepy guy named Christopher Burnett. Who the hell is this guy? This isn't just some random thing Max created. That's like a person and a giant book of instructions for him to follow. This book was literally placed under his bed by someone in the dead of night while he was asleep, and those.
What I just say? Bro, I'm literally teaching his sayings in the future. And the thing is, too, I was basically going off of just what I thought I knew. But you see, what I just did basically implies that our thoughts are controlled by higher orders. That's exactly why when you contradict that, You're glitching the system.
People have influence over his
That's
dreams,
so
having
crazy.
Sharkboy and Lavagirl teach him. So Max and the others are living under constant observation right next to the base of operations in a
Basically, this school is a concentration camp. And then the beings who, excuse me, who the beings who are aware of their powers mentally, they go into that dream world to be experimented on for their powers.
lie designed to do exactly what ended up happening by people who can enter his dreams. So who are they? Who are these people? Ever think about Mr. Electricidad? It's such a strange name. It's just electric in Spanish. For someone who dislikes being called Mr. Electric, it doesn't make much sense. Pin a freaking lightning bolt to his tie. No, he does this because he's supposed to. It's why he and the others talk so weirdly. He's not crushing dreams, he's testing them. The movie ends on this point.
You have awakened me.
He's right in the middle of this. The government uses him in every adult position on planet Drool, from Tobor, who has his teacher side, to the Ice King, who has his fatherly side, to, of course, Mr. Electric, who has his cruel side. This means that the big bad Mr. Electric would quite literally be the teacher recording himself and projecting it onto a giant screen robot in the lucid dream. That's seriously what it is. When the robot appears in the tornado, he doesn't really say much. He's just reading basic lines and standing there waiting because it's pre-recorded. The real man is busy now helping his students down below. Mr. Electricidad tries testing Max's dreams a few times, but when he realizes that Max used the book to distract him, he focuses in on it hard.
What do you have there?
It's all my most precious dreams.
You're a good kid, Max.
And then has Linus steal it seconds later. He should have known when Max gave his presentation, but it didn't matter to him until Max accidentally used its true power in front of him. All of this is creepy and sneaky, but the real ones to watch out for are Max's very own parents. They represent the duality of Max's inner struggle, torn between innocent dreams and harsh reality. It means his mother.
So I basically was teaching ahead of the video. Oh my God. My bad, y'all. Damn. I, I don't apologize. I didn't mean to do that though. He basically just stated what we already stated because that's really what it is. Your parents are designed to lose their imagination to where they think as if their beliefs, hmm, their beliefs, their reminders, their conditions, their acceptance in life is the end all be all. And if you go against that, you're being disobedient.
Is the realistic authority, and his father is the blissful dreamer. This simple fact reveals everything about both of them. His dad describes himself as a writer, and the director uses him to describe his own personal thoughts. Max's father is the only one who truly understands imagination and how to use it. He uses it during the final battle to save them. This man would be the one the government has been working closely with, using what they know about his powers to create an environment for supers. Max's mother, on the other hand, would likely be some sort of government agent caretaker, working with the school and for the military that I presume is surrounding this fake town. All of this explains the true identities of Sharkboy and Lavagirl. They don't just represent his parents' dreams and their lives, but rather they are his parents, using his dreams to teach him how to do better. This is why they act like they already know each other when they meet. And it's why Max basically ignores Sharkboy and Lavagirl in favor of his parents at the end. He realizes they're just parallels like everything else in the movie. Sharkboy contains the dad's missing authority. Lavagirl contains the mom's missing innocence. Look at her color choices in the end. They're just characters being used to show Max what true heroes are like, to get him to create more, to create real ones that will eventually be used to defend the world and usher in a new era for peace. And that outcome is literally the plot of the entire sequel. Planet Drool is also real by all this logic, even more real than the school. It's a real place, suggested to be somewhere on the planet of Pluto, created by dreamers and the government alike to send kids in their sleep. So overall, we have a government organizing a school of extremely promising imaginative children, and they're testing on them until they can get them to dream what they want. Max is the biggest focus because his father literally represents the director, the writer of the world, and they want his son to take up the torch and lead a new generation of dreamers when they create their own universe filled with heroes, just like the sequel.
Can we count on you to not just help save your planet, but the entire galaxy?
And this is exactly what the film's about, without a doubt, because the real world here was written by Robert Rodriguez, and Planet Drool was all based on his son's dreams. Mind absolutely blown. But how does their experiment turn out in the end? Well, it's hard to tell. Max is causing things to happen, but the government is also placing things to persuade him, and it's hard to tell which is which. Like, if Mr. Electric is a real robot made by the military, then did Max really create anything? Did he succeed? Did he actually achieve becoming a daydreamer? The answer is still yes. Max's true power is not in creating little objects. It's in writing the entire story. It's in this subtle.
But the thing is, though, Max succeeded by what Max was observing. So Max was just dreaming the reality of agents that wanted to implement their plans through the mind of what Max thought was real in the dream world. And the dream world was simulated by beings that have no body, and they wanted to be in Max's body and other people's bodies as well, or the students, by going through the journal and going through other people's opinions to where their feelings towards their own dreams of lucid experiences can bring them into a parallel universe to where now they can meet them in that dream world. And then when they can shapeshift into a different character, they can now find that attachment. And then when they get closer in the dream world, the kid or the child will now bring the government agent or the CIA being or the sentient entity into the physical. And then this being will now become a trusted individual that will now take your child underground, and they're out of there.
I mentioned. It's in every minute detail that fuels the film. And of course, it's in creating superheroes, which he did when Marissa gained ice powers. So their experiment was either a resounding success or a colossal failure, depending on how you view the sequel's pocket universe. Either Max's world is doomed from too much mind control, or the pocket universe can save everyone. This is likely what the aliens are recruiting heroes for during the sequel.
The pocket universe can save everyone. We have to get away from the dream that we think is real.
They are government figures, and they run things in the name of writer Robert Rodriguez. How so? Well, this man often uses his Latin American heritage to underscore his movies, and George Lopez has super strength for a reason, while Marissa could very well be the sequel's grandmother, or the wishing rod from outer space in shorts. Roswell, New Mexico, perhaps? Like I said, it's unlimited chaos, but not as hopeless as you might fear.
The following story is true. It might have started as a dream, but as we saw yesterday, when we make our dreams a reality, reality becomes a dream. So dream a better dream, then work to make it real.
Oh, believe me. Still don't believe me? Well,
key
Shark
word, work to make it real.
was the son of a marine biologist who studied sharks. He could somehow speak to them, but was soon separated from his father during a, quote, mysterious electrical storm in which the entire lab was destroyed and they both lost each other at sea. The sharks found him and took him to a secret cave hideout where he got raised by them and taught to be a shark, causing him to somehow grow fins and gills. For some reason, Sharkboy starts traveling the universe looking for his father. In the end, they reunite exploring the ocean floor. So how did Sharkboy get these powers? How did he become a shark? An electrical storm, you say? None of this makes any sense unless Sharkboy is the test. What is happening to Sharkboy mirrors exactly what happened to Max and Marissa. They have been tested on by their own parents for the greater good. Max's dreams tell him this. If I could wager, I'd bet Sharkboy's father is Christopher Burnett, the man in charge. Everything is about dreams coming true and creating more dreams, like Sharkboy and Lavagirl living out theirs in the end. Everything affects everything. It's just like real life when parents dream for a family and create a child like Max, or how a director makes his son's dreams into a real movie, which is why young Sharkboy was played by none other than his son. As I said before, Sharkboy represents the realism within Max's dad, and this represents how the writer created their world. I did some research and found detailed official books on Amazon, one of which is a page-for-page copy of Max's entire dream journal I will be buying. I also have questions about Max's bunk bed, his girl goggles, and Linus having Rodriguez's studio logo on his own dream journal. So stay tuned, subscribe, join my Patreon for my Discord and early videos. Also more of this. And of course, comment questions below for more.
Hey, overall, this was a very interesting video. And I mean, to conclude it, I feel as if we really have to get in tune with our inner youth. Once we get in tune with our inner youth, we'll be able to go back to the worlds that we belong to, because this world that we think is physical is what we constantly dream in. So when we work to become aware of the observation that we are physically being in when we go to bed, that's how we're able to understand that we are the awareness that we have to be still in. And I have a lot of sticky notes too for different videos for y'all, but and I ain't gonna cap. Like I mean, bankrolls of videos. Hold on, let me make sure I can see this real quick. But yeah, I got like just a ton of sticky notes that I just be taking notes. But so yeah, let me see. And that's the thing, because stillness breaks the spell, but awareness breaks the loop. And loops are karmic loops that we are stuck in, feed on emotional charge. So, Mr. Electric, unconscious attachments and beliefs and illusions. So, when we stop reacting, stop chasing, and identifying with the dream, now the trap that we are in lets go of us energetically. And that's how we're able to free our mind from the body. Because when we stop ignoring how infinite we are, we can go back to being with source. But people are infatuated with being in the matrix. People love to be the architect of their simulation because it's art to them. And the thing is, too, people are so bored that they don't remember that they place themselves in this delusional world of simulated realities or a frequency net. So when people escape from gematria and just a numbering system of quantum overlappings for more lies, we stop falling in the traps that we place ourselves in the dream world. Because when you dream big, you now get to live in a bigger world that was meant for you to succeed in, but you can only succeed when you free yourself from the adult conditions that cause you to believe that you weren't enough in your imagination. Have a great and divine day, divine reflection. 524 is not bad.